Adam here, addiction specialist and hypnotist, helping people, as you know by now, to overcome addictions, talking all things addiction, to psychology behind addiction also. Now, there are 4 stages to addiction. Okay, we're going to be talking about those one at a time. So the first one being when it comes to addictions, the first, everyone starts off if they're using substance, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs. So if it all starts with experimentation, with the social settings, maybe you're offered this, someone offers it, a friend offers it to you, and it's like, okay, why not? We're young, we're free, we can do what we like. So it's always that experimentation. It's like having fun, going out with your friends when you first start drinking, you first taste alcohol for the first time and you realize, okay, this feels good, it changes how I feel. And, it goes from that point, which leads into the second phase. You enjoyed it the first time perhaps, and you think, yeah, okay, well, let's look forward to the next time. So how about we bring it forward a bit, maybe use it instead of next weekend, let's use it Wednesday. Okay, we'll start using it a little bit more regular. So the second stage is regular use. Because you enjoyed it the first and second and third time, you look forward to the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th and so on. So that use becomes kind of habitual. It becomes part of your social setting, depending, your social surroundings like friends and things like that, people that you associate with, it becomes a part of your environment. So then it brings into the next stage, which is high risk use. You're starting to use it so much so that it's consuming your thoughts. You're just waiting and wondering, when is that next fix going to come along? When am I going to get my hands on this next, whether it's the next drink or the next fix of drugs or whatever it is that you've been introduced to. So that high risk use is where, you're starting to be consumed by the thought of, where am I going to get it from next? Okay, or when is the next time we can do that? Because it becomes the way to cope. It becomes a kind of survival. You feel like you need this substance to survive. It helps you. It seems like it helps you get through the tough times, the negative thoughts that perhaps you once before you started using, after you started using, these thoughts kind of settled down. So it becomes a coping mechanism for a lot of people, and they don't see any other way of coping without it. Because they're not educated on how to cope. They're not guided. They're not supported on how to cope. And then obviously that after the consumption, it consumes your mind, your thoughts. Then that turns into the full-blown addiction. You become dependent on it. You can't go a day without it. You need it to function. You need it to get you through each and every day. So you can see how these 4 stages build up from a relatively light social setting. It's a kind of voluntary use, isn't it? So no one really forces us, not in all cases anyway, to consume drugs, to consume alcohol. So as we said, experimentation, the voluntary use of those substances. Then we go into the regular use, when you start to enjoy that feeling. So you start to want to do it more and more and more. Then you get into that high risk usage, where you starts to affect your health, the people around you, your friends start worrying about, your family starts worrying about you, asking you questions about it. And then obviously the high risk use and addiction kind of go together. Once that high risk use is happening, that's, addiction is present. There is an addiction, there is an issue, and their help is needed. So, and that is the point where a lot of people you know, think or finds that they hit rock bottom is when that high risk use, you know, starts eroding everything around them. It starts to consume their work life, their social life, their family life. You know, they lose their jobs, they lose their friends, they lose their family, or they lose the good friends they had that they will lose. You know, often with an addict, they often associate with people that they can get these drugs or alcohol from. Obviously more so drugs, because alcohol is often, you know, freely available. But, you know, when it affects your employment, when it affects your work life, then, you know, that financial support then falls. And then how can you then support your family? You know, and it's just an endless cycle down. And until you hit rock bottom, often is the place a lot of people get to before they decide to get the help. But it doesn't have to be that way. Once you get into just the regular use, which is stage 2, you know, you start to, if you're present enough, or if people have spoken to you about it at this stage, you know, you're using this more and more now. Do you think maybe you're starting to get a kind of an addiction problem with it? You know, and a lot of people, they get offended when confronted with these questions, and they just don't realize that those who care about them are just looking out for them. But, you know, the offense is like, how dare you accuse me of that? You know, accuse me of being weak, accuse me of not having control of my own behaviors, which, you know, they're saying everything that's true, isn't it? You know, they are showing weakness. They are losing control of their behaviors, but it's just admitting that truth. Admitting that truth to themselves can be the most difficult thing that they have to do often. And until they admit that, until they face that truth, they won't get help, and they don't realize they actually need the help. Or maybe they do, they just can't admit that to themselves and others around them. So those are the 4 stages. You've got experimentation, you've got regular use, you've got high use, and then full-blown addiction, where you are consumed by it. So if this video was useful to you, and if you found it, anyone else would find it useful, you can share it. If you can give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would be great. That would be amazing, and it helps me get the message out there. And until next time, stay tuned for more daily videos, and you can see another video here, and enjoy. Take care, guys. See you later.